Hey guys, welcome back to the Overnight Coder. This is going to be part 4 of the WordPress Directory tutorial 2026. Today we're going to do something exciting, finally jumping in and doing something custom, which is creating our custom post types. Now, we already know that for this specific healthcare directory, I'm going to have offices and doctors. But I want to start with offices because some of you guys will be creating city directories. There's a lot of people that do city directories for their location or close to their location. And city directories kind of cover everything. If I started with doctors, people might get a little confused, like, oh, is this only for people? It's not. So let's start with businesses, which is the office locations, in my case, of healthcare professionals. So I'm going to jump right in. Remember, Overnight Coder, like, subscribe, hit the bell. We're going to have a lot of stuff released on this channel. Check the description. I've got some links for JetEngine. I've got some links for some of the best hosting that I have found with directories, which has so far been Cloudways. It's affordable. There was a 3-day trial, so I could try my setup without a card. And again, this isn't. I'm not worried about the affiliate signups. Again, you can just go to Cloudways, check them out. It's super cool, but I do have links in the description. We also have a Facebook group, pretty active or pretty large Facebook group for the niche. I think it's got like 2,000-3,000 users, but again, it's for directory owners, so good for the niche. Either way, check us out. Links are in the description. So the first thing I'm going to do is come to the back end, but just by clicking the link up here, that's my easy way. Another easy way is taking my full link with the WP admin. A lot of times you'll see me like just remove everything after WP admin. I'm just comfortable with getting there that way, right? So, yeah, so I'm jumping in. Last time we talked about, JetEngine. We installed 2 plugins, JetEngine and JetElements. Today we're gonna jump into the JetEngine. Now I can get there 2 different ways. What I want to do is create a custom post type. My custom post type is going to be businesses or business. So to do that, I can go here, JetEngine, and then post types. Now, if I were to just click JetEngine, it also brings up their, the sub menu that was already in it. So again, let's try it just so you can see. There's 2 ways to kind of get there. Actually, 1 way, but define, right? This is the sub menu that we just seen. So whether I click here and then post types, or whether I click here accidentally and I don't see the drop down, post types is right here. All right, so I'm going to quickly go through this on some pieces that I need. There are many other features, and you can find tutorials for other things and other features, and we'll get into some of those, but I'm going to keep this more direct for exactly what I'm trying to do. So I have all my post type names here. This is a familiar WordPress kind of setup. I'm going to remove these 2. So I have my post types here. I don't have any. I'm going to click Add New. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is when I click Add New, it's going to say, hey, what is the post type name? And it reminds you that it kind of reminds you that it ends in S, right? I see projects. So keep that in mind. This is going to be businesses, if I can spell right. Businesses. And this is actually, you know what? I apologize. We're going to call it offices. Because mine are offices. Yours might be businesses. Yours might be listings, right? I use listings a lot of times when I'm just doing something general. This isn't going to matter, although I do use this because you can switch the link later, which I'll show you, but I'm going to use it directly because I want /offices. So, my link /offices is going to show all of my office locations. So this is plural, offices. After I typed in offices, I just press tab. It fills out my post type slug, which is offices. Again, this can be changed. You can put listings here. This is actually the slug that I just mentioned. I'm going to skip over the next 3. I don't use those. In this case, I'm going to jump down to label. What should it be called on the back end is label. So when I'm looking at it, it's going to say, hey, add a new, not offices, but in this type, I'm going to do singular. So I always do plural here, offices. I would type a singular form of that name, which is office. And I am going to click tab a bunch of times until it gets to the end. So the tab button on my iMac is here, and when I do that, it auto fills out the next section. So this says add new. What should it say? Add new office. I'm going to hit tab. Perfect. Add new item. Add new office. New item. New office. Edit item. Edit office. And I'm just pressing the tab button a bunch of times until I get down to featured image, stayed featured image, set featured image, remove featured image, archive and menus, offices, insert into office, upload to this office. And all I did was press tab, and normally I just press tab without explaining all the way down to the end. All right, advanced settings. Advanced settings has some things that different people might use different items, right? And you can take a look at these. They also have the tutorials on the right. But for me, I'm going to scroll down. And there are a couple things that I like to use. I like to keep it in the Croco box section, but where do I want offices at in my left menu? Okay, so here I can set after the first separator, so that's after the first separator. Dashboard, plugins, third separator. I'm going to keep the Croco box selection, but just so you know, you can remove where offices sits on the left-hand side, and I'll show you here in a minute. More importantly, I do use the next two functions. So I skip this because I use Croco box section. What do I want my icon to be? So on my left, some of these have icons. I'm going to do I'm going to do the home button. So I typed in an icon name, I found it, I want my icon to be that, which I guess is going to represent my office. Now, what does this support? When you open up a blog post, and we'll open this up in a separate page, you don't have to do this. But if I were to open up a blog post, I have different features already set, and I'm going to describe some of those features. I have a title, I have a description area, I have a thumbnail set featured image, I have the thumbnail area, right? And those, I also have an author. I have revisions, maybe. Okay, I don't have any revisions yet. But if I had revisions, I would have them here. What we are seeing on that last option is, what does it support? It supports the title. It supports the editor, or in my case, the description. I also wanted to trace the author because I'm going to have other people submitting listings. So eventually, I do want that author field filled out. I also do want the thumbnail, the featured image. Now, a lot of times that's all I use. I will take a look, comments, that can be added or revised. Revisions, no, I don't really need those. I don't want to see the revisions made. Trackbacks, page attributes, custom fields, post formats. So a lot of times, these are the 4 that I add. So I have those: title, editor, author, thumbnail, feature, image. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and click add this post type. That's on the far right upper corner. And what that does is it's going to add that post type to the left-hand side of the screen. So remember, I said I want it in a JetEngine or in the the default location. I now have offices with my home button, and if I were to, I'm going to right click, open up a new tab. I'm just going to check that out. Like, what did that create? That created a custom post type. Under that custom post type, I can see all, or I can add a new. So just like a blog post in WordPress, if you're familiar, I can start adding my office locations, or I can just see a list of those locations. Now, what happens if I click add? If I click add, I'm looking at pretty much the fields that I had set. I have a title here. I have a description. I also, click office, I have a thumbnail or featured image. And I can see the author. Right, so currently that's all I have. Now, of course, that's not going to work for my directory. I'm going to close that out. I'm not going to change anything, just wanted you to see. The next step, and this is when it becomes fun. We have general, we already did that. We have labels, we already did that. Advanced, we already did that. All right, meta fields. Meta fields, I want to add some new meta fields. And this is where your structure and design should have came in part, but I'll help you out with some fields. Right, if I'm looking at an office location, the first field I want to add is the business address, right? And do I want this in a full address? So I'm going to create a new, I'm going to say full, and I'm going to put Google address, because sometimes I get a little confused on what full address means. I'm going to press tab, That fills it out. This is my meta description. Now, or the name or the ID. Now, I am going to put, instead of full Google address, I can always change this to full _ address. And this will give you, what can you use? You can use letters, numbers, and dash and hyphens, or dash and underscores. I think that's what it's called. All right, what type of field is this? I leave this alone, right? It's not a tab, it's an accordion. It's just a regular field, so I leave that alone. What type of field is this? It's a text field. Now, we are going to use many of these fields in the future. Right now, if I look in here and I just click on it, I am going to leave it text, but I'm going to show you. I've got text. I've got a date field. I've got a text area, which is a big text block. What you see is what you get editor. I've got switchers, checkbox, icons. I've got media. I've got gallery, radio. But for now, we're just going to use the basic text field. Now, just so you can see what the description is, maybe I come back and I put a description which will be under this field, and this is just for the back-end dashboard. Maybe I put full Google address here, and here I just put full address, right? Didn't matter, whatever the case may be. The field width, 100%. Character limit, no character limit. Default value, not worried about. Is required. I could check this off, but for now, I don't really like anything required. If they fill it out, they fill it out. If they don't, there's a reason why, I'm sure. So for this, I'm just going to leave everything else alone, and I'm going to create another one. But before you see that, matter of fact, I'll create 2 or 3 more so you can see what they look like. So new meta field, let's do website. I want to know the business website. I'm going to hit tab. It's a field, it is text. In this case, I'm going to do 50%. And I'll show you why. Character limit, no. Default value, no. All right, let's create a new meta field. Let's do phone number. I press tab, phone number gets filled out. It's a text field, but do I have a telephone field? I do not. So we'll stick with text. I haven't put descriptions for either one, and this one I'm going to also do 50%. I'm just thinking about my layout. Now, a lot of times I'll leave them all at 100 and then come back and then see what I want to set them at, and I'll show you that now. So I'm going to update the post type. Perfect. Now I have 3 fields additionally in my office. So I'm going to right-click Office, open it up in a new tab so we can stay on our existing tab. I'll add a new office, and now I have a few more of these meta fields. Right, if I scroll down, or actually I notice that it wasn't open, so I click that little arrow right there. That's it, open it up. So now I have a title. Let's grab a medical field. Let's go and fill one of these out. If you notice, this is 100% width, this is 50% of the width, and this is 50% of the width, which is what I explained. There also was a description, full Google address. Was my description in here, while these ones had no description, so you can kind of see where that went. If I were to add something like let's do Health Advantage Plus. This is the name of my doctor area. This is my text description of the business information would go here, and this is where I'd copy and paste or put in some of the business information in a few paragraphs long. I could even style it up if I wanted to, right? So let's bold. All right, perfect. I also have the full address. When I set a full address, I could have done an example here in the description, but for this case, we're going to do 123 Main Street. And Google does, so if you're in the United States, you want the way the address is listed. I don't want to just put anything in here, Orlando, Florida, 32124, right? I want to do it the way Google would have it listed, which is why I put the description, full Google address. Copy it from Google if you're not sure. In the United States, it's street, state, Orlando, I'm sorry, street, city, state, and that could be an abbreviation, and then space, and then your zip code. And I don't have the right zip code. But in that case, that's the way it's laid out on Google, right? There's comma after everything except for the location. But again, I could find that. Let's say hospital near me. Let's get that Google location is here. And you'll see, same thing I said, the address, comma, city, comma, state, and zip. As a matter of fact, I'm going to use that for here. Same layout. Website, let's do HTTPS, YouTube, no, let's do samfordian.com. Phone number could be any format I want. This is going to be a display phone number. So I'm going to do something like default 555-555-1234. Perfect. I've got some stuff in here. I'm also, while I'm here, I'm on the block editor for this. If I click Office, I can set my featured image, which I'm just going to grab something already in my media field. Most of you guys will be clicking Upload and uploading something from your computer. Now, I'm going to click something already in my media field just to save time and set featured image. Perfect. I'll go ahead and click Publish. Publish again. And now this is one of my post types for Office. So this is technically my new Office. If I go back to post types, actually, I'm going to go back to new Office. I'm going to go back to the editor, view post, whatever the case may be. I can click Offices here if I'm not already on the page. Matter of fact, I'm going to go off here, dashboard, Offices. Oops, dashboard, Offices. And I literally see the Health Advantage Plus. Now, in here, I can do a couple different things. If you're not already familiar with WordPress, I can edit, right? I can quick edit, trash, or view. A lot of cases, view is going to look probably pretty bad. Just because we haven't styled up that page, I can't even see it with the pages. But it is, I promise you, that's the title there. You can't see it. So it looks bad right now. Don't worry about that. We're going to, what about trash? If I wanted to trash it, I can put it in the trash. If I want to edit it, and that's why we're here, we're going to click edit. I can always come back and edit that listing. Perfect. I just went back on the browser. What if I wanted to add a new office? I could. And then I'd have 2 in that list. This is number 2. Of course, that wouldn't be my title. What if I don't fill out these and I just click publish? Unfortunately, if I didn't do required, those are now published, and that would be live on my site, right? I'm going to go back just so you can see the main gist of this is now in Offices, all Offices, I have 2 offices, and that's how we're going to list everything in WordPress is going to be like that, right? We create something and then we fill it up with something. So I don't want this one. I'm going to go ahead and trash that so you can see an example of trashing as well. So now we're ready to create the rest of our fields in JetEngine post types. So let's go back. I'm going to create a couple other fields. I just went back to my back tab. Remember, if I didn't click back, if I was lost, I'm on the dashboard. I lost that page. It's JetEngine post types. Same thing. I have a list of my post types. So what can I do? Well, I can edit or delete. I don't want to delete it. I want to edit it. So I'm editing offices. I'm going to go down to the meta field, and I'm going to add some more fields, which, give me just a second. What are some other fields you could be adding? I mean, for your business location, you should have this down on paper. It's going to make it much easier for you to like not sit here and be like, well, I think I should maybe add. So again, make sure you list that out. It'll help you a lot in the future. So in my case, I'm going to add a couple things. I'm going to add a tagline. Hit tab. It's also going to be a text field. I'm okay at 100%. New meta field. I'm going to create another one. I'm going to call it contact email. Who should they contact if they have any inquiries? I'm going to hit tab. It is a text field. No problem. What about company logo? New. I'm going to type in company logo. And I'm doing this so you can see a couple different types of fields. I'm going to hit tab. But this is a field, but the text is no longer text. It is going to be media. So in media, what do I want them to save it as? I can choose media ID or media URL. I'm gonna go with media URL. There's one that works better than others for me. At this moment, I do it all like subconsciously, so we'll find out here in a minute. The media URL, same thing. That's a new meta field. That's a different one. Business hours is a repeater field. That gets a little bit harder. I want to do some. I don't want to jump into anything a little bit more complex right now. So we're gonna go over the basic fields. Some of the other fields I would do are a video link, right, from YouTube or Vimeo. That would be a link, or a text, same thing. Facebook profile link, or all your social profile links, same thing. I'll do one right now just so you can see. Facebook profile, and I'm gonna put, so I know it's always a link. I'm gonna hit tab. Now I don't want that as my slug. That looks kind of crazy, so I'm just gonna do Facebook under here. I won't use that again. It's gonna be a textual link. It's gonna be probably 50% because I'll put one next to it. In this case, I'm just gonna add a new field. Now I will do let's do image gallery. So we already seen media tab. So that was media before. In this case, I'm not gonna do media, I'm gonna do gallery. Same thing, field format, I'm gonna do media URLs, full width. Now one thing I did realize was on my tagline, I'm gonna go ahead and click update post. I'm gonna refresh the page, so instead of, see how these are all expanded? If I just refresh, or I could have minimized them, now they're all like closed, they're not expanded. So kind of a quick workaround. For the tagline, I do want to go back in tagline. I want to make a character limit of 120 characters. Like I don't want them to be able to type in a huge tagline, because tagline I'm going to use on my cards, and I need it to be 120 characters less, or I could set this 150 characters less. I do not want 2 paragraphs in here, so I'll put that in there, 120 characters. And then for the tagline, I do probably want, I don't want my name different, I just, tagline is fine, but I'm gonna put 120 characters max. Or maybe, even better, I can take that out and put it in my description. I could update post type, but I'm gonna add one more. We're gonna do a repeater field. So there are a bunch of different fields in here that I could go over, right? And before I do that, I'm gonna show you text, date. This is just asking them for a date. This is asking for a time. This is asking for a date and time. Text area, again, it's a text field, but it's a big box. What you see, what you get area, what you see, what you get editor is the same as a text area, but you can actually add bold, italic, and all those like visual components. A switcher, left or right? Do you want to switch it on or off? Checkboxes. If you do checkboxes, they are allowed to select different features, and we'll go over some of these later, but I do want to show you that some of these are really cool, like a select box. And what's in that select box? Well, we'll define that later. A color picker. Can they pick a color, right, out of a million colors? In this case, I do want to add a repeater. So we get a little bit more in depth. I didn't add a title. We're going to call it frequently asked questions. All right, so now for this title, I'm just going to do it smaller. This is the name or ID I will use later for, I don't want to say coding, but for like inserting data. Like if I want to insert something, I don't want to type out frequently underscore, asked underscore questions. So I'm going to make that a little bit shorter for FAQ. This is what you see visually. This is the value. Perfect. So I field repeater. Now when I put repeater in here, I want to go back, text. See, the next thing is the description. When I put repeater in here, you're going to notice that it says, hey, there's a new repeater field. I'll keep this basically simple. For this case, I'm going to add a new repeater field. It is going to be called question. The name is tab question. It's text, right? It's text question. What else comes in a repeater field? A question. I'm going to hit new. It's going to be an answer. Answer. Tab. Answer. And that is it. I do want you to think about something different. I'm going to click update. What about if I was doing business hours? Business hours could have been my repeater. The first new repeater would have been day of the week. I probably would have selected a select box with Monday through Sunday. And then time, open hour, right? The first thing, instead of answer, I would have had open time, and it would have been time. And then I would have had another one that said close time and time. And what that does is it allows them to add. Let me just show you what it did for our frequently asked question. So in the case of offices now, I'm just going to edit the existing one I have. I now have these new fields. Remember, and I just did 100% on everything. Here's my tagline. It has 120 characters max. At some point, this thing will stop taking in characters and limit them right there to 120 characters. Contact email, bam. Company logo, choose media, upload one from your system. Now this, again, we'll be working with front-end forms, but for you, we're going to be filling out some of this information on the back end. This is how we do it. The customers normally, the businesses or the offices won't be seeing this back-end form. We do create front-end forms with Jet Form Builder and everything on the front end, but this is a visual for the back end on what we will see here with data inside of it. So company logo, bam. I'm just gonna pick a logo I have. Facebook profile link, bam, Facebook. Image gallery works a little bit different. We can upload multiple images. Now in that, maybe I should have put upload 5 max and set it to a 5 max limit. I'll show you how to do that later. For now, I'm just gonna select some of these from my gallery so we can see this all filled out. Now, frequently asked questions. This is why I brought you here. Now, I do have a featured image on the side. Keep in mind, that's going to be a little bit different. We can use these images wherever we want once we start building the post type out. For frequently asked questions, just to finish this up, my repeater works like this. I add an item. My first thing I'm going to see is question. Second thing I'll see is answer. Bam. I add an item. What's the question? Question 1 goes here. Yada. Question mark. This would be the answer. And the reason for a repeater field is because you can add as many as you need, right? So what's the next? Add item. In my case, do you guys offer free consultation? And I could have done a real question, but I just wanted you to see up here, this could have been a real question. This could have been a real answer. And no, you have to pay. Now, of course, that's not very professional. Don't worry. And we can add as many of these repeaters as we want. I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And that is the gist of building custom post types. So keep in mind there are plenty of features that we are going to add more. Just to give you an outside of what I like to see. I like to see a claimed button. I'll do a switcher later on. It's either claimed or I imported it, right? Or the business claimed it. And I do that so I can do something with that later, right? Has this business listing been claimed? I do a plan or order field. I give it a number, right? This could be a 0, this could be a 5, depending on that number. So let's say 0 are all my free plans, 5 is all my premium plans. And then I can do something with that number, like sort them from highest to lowest. So I'll be adding those. I'll be adding social profile links. I'll be adding appointment links. I'll be adding when the business plan ends. So if they pay for 1 month, I need to know when the business plan ends. And those are some of the things that I'll be doing within the structure of these CPTs as we go along. For now, we just saved. Our post type is saved. If we need to edit it, we can. And that should be a good structure on how to start creating your CPTs. Now, just to finalize, how many CTPs can we have? So JetEngine, I'm going to go back to post types. I have 1. Could I add a new one? And for my case, for many cases, you might not need a new one if you're just doing business listings in general. But what happens if you also want events or jobs or advertisements? This is where you would do it, right? You can create more post types. Now, in my case, I do want to do doctors. Whoops. So real quick, just to run you down it the quick way, I press tab. I'm on labels. It's doctor, not plural. Tab, 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 tab. Bam. I get to advanced settings. This is just a recap, right? For this one, I'll do user. No, wait, do I have doctor? User. No, I have stethoscope. I know I have one of those. Let's just do user for now. That's my icon. Where's my editor? Thumbnail feature. Author. Meta fields I'm going to leave for now. I'm going to click add post type. And we're done there. Sorry about the dog barking in the background. We've obviously got visitors. And that will sum up my post types video.